Hello, this is Emily Toops with the League of Women Voters of Portland. You're watching the Video Voters Guide. Today we're in the studios of MetroEast Community Media to talk with candidates running in the May 2018 primary election. With me today is Kayse Jama, running for State Senator of the 24th District. Welcome, Kayse.
Thank you so much for having me.
So to start off, just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for this office.
Well, thank you. Again, my name is Kayse Jama. I'm running Oregon Senate District 24. I came to this country as a refugee from Somalia. And I've been an organizer for 20 years. Through that, my experience as an organizer, I've worked with all sectors of government, from municipalities, cities, and state. I'm running this seat because I believe that in this country, in this state, we are in crossroads. Senate District 24 is one of the most diverse districts in this community. We have about 37% of the population are people of color, and we have about 25% of the district's residents are first-generation immigrant and refugees. We also are one of the most densely populated districts. Also, the district's families, actually 26% of the district's families receive food stamps. That's twice of national average. We are in crisis in this district. Combined of all the elements that I mentioned, and you have a high density population, we have low income community, and then we have a high cost of living as well as housing crisis. Combination of those issues really created a perfect storm for our district, where we have a housing crisis and people are actually being evicted from their homes. People are unable to pay their rent. People have to choose whether paying a rent or paying food, putting food at the table, or paying their medical bills. We are in crisis districts, and the leadership right now we have is actually out of touch and out of reality of the lived experience of the people in this district. I myself, as a former refugee, as someone who could this country come to as a refugee, I believe I have the experience, knowledge, and expertise is needed to push this district to where it needs to be going. I want to represent this district, and I want to bring with these people in this district with me. I also believe that we are actually facing issues of hate crimes since this administration was elected. We have immigrant refugees who are hiding because they are fear of their families that will be deported. We have Muslim women who are unable to get out of their homes because they are fearful of being attacked in hate crimes. And actually, right now, some of them they are doing a group shopping because they can no longer do things that you and I took and guarantee that we can go and shop alone in our own time. So there is a really huge crisis, and I think for me, as someone who's come from this country, a refugee, I am saying that we're not going to be made invisible. We will be visible, and we are here to contribute this community, and I want to give back my community to make sure that this district is actually being led by people, someone like me, who have a direct experience, people, the same experience people in this district. So that's why I'm running for this Senate District 24.
Thank you. With many issues, jobs and the economy are an important factor in all of those different items you've mentioned. So what steps will you take to ensure that people in your district are properly trained and well qualified for Oregon jobs?
I think they get into 21st jobs and making sure that our students and workforce is ready for 21st century economy. We have to do several things. First of all, Oregon has a graduation issues. We are having one of the lowest graduation rates in the country. You cannot prepare students when we're not able to graduate from high school. So to me, investing from K-12 to all the way to the higher education will be some of my priority. Number two, we have to make sure that the students are trained both in science, technology, engineering, and math, in order so they can compete globally. In addition to that, we also have to focus on equity. We want to make sure that students who are community of color, immigrant refugees, are also lifted up from the bottom and being supported so they can actually also graduate and also be part of our economic system. Finally, we also have to prepare the students for the green jobs, and we have to invest training, workforce training programs that help us to make sure that our economy is part of the 21st century economy globally, and make sure that those students who are graduating from high school are ready, some of them to take jobs straight, being in the market and have all the skills necessary. And others who are willing to go to the college and want to go to college, they have the ability to go to the college and also have the right training, as I said earlier. So those are some of the things that I'm going to be doing. But more importantly, we absolutely have to invest and increase our investment in our education system. Without that, right now we are investing we are actually short on $200 million in investment in our education. That is unacceptable to me. As someone who actually been given an opportunity to get education, and also education helped me to get out of poverty, I want to make sure that we have enough resources to fund fully our public education system.
Mm-hmm. And with funding programs like education, that tends to bring in discussions about the budget, and Oregon has traditionally had a budget shortfall. How will you address these issues?
I think the budget issue is also a huge. Every time that we talk about budget shortfall, and in Oregon, and it's been going for some time, we have to think about who are we taxing and who we are not taxing. We have one of the lowest corporate tax rates in the country. That has to change. If I'm given the opportunity to be the next senator, I want to make sure that we have a fair taxation system. I want to make sure that our corporations are paying their fair share of tax, so we can invest our programs like education, housing, and other necessary services that our community needs. Those are right now people in low-income community and actually middle-class families are taxed, and we are giving a corporations having a corporate welfare, and that to me that's not acceptable. Those are some of the things that I am going to be making sure that we have to focus. And again, there's also making sure that all the other solutions that we have to come up as part of this conversation about taxation issues. I will be making sure that I work with the Senate and the House colleagues to ensure that we have enough funding for enough funding for our programs, and we have enough funding in our budget to ensure that Oregon is a livable state for all.
Great. And in addition to a lot of social and economic issues, Oregon has several environmental concerns, particularly surrounding seismic activity, flood, and wildfire disasters. So what do you recommend to do in order to make Oregon's infrastructure and population more resilient to those environmental factors?
Again, we are actually talking about infrastructure investment. And in order to do that, we have to have the right resources. So I'm going back to, again, what I said earlier, which is really, we have to really have enough revenue to address and invest infrastructure that can sustain and can withstand huge earthquake that potentially can happen in our region. So for me, investing our infrastructure will be one of my priority. Also, we have actually population who are immigrant refugees who actually need to be prepared for evacuation, and make sure that we have the right information in multiple languages that they need. We can translate, so they have the right information in order to be evacuate if we need to evacuate. So those are some of the elements that I'm going to be investing and focusing. But finally, I'm going to say this: as I'm one of the only candidates who would never and will never accept corporate PAC donations, because all the things that I mentioned require investment, and in order to invest, in order to make sure that we have resources, we have to have a corporate taxation. And I will not accept the corporate PAC donations because I don't believe free money. If someone gives you $5,000, I guarantee you they will come to cash it out. And those are some of the things that I'm planning to do, and that's why I'm in this race, to make sure that we have someone like me who is community organizer, who is want to be bringing people's experience to Salem, so I can represent the people in my district the way we should be represented. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be focusing.
Well, thank you so much, Kayse. This has been the Video Voters Guide. Thank you for watching. The primary election is May 15th, 2018. Be prepared, be informed about all of the candidates in your district and all of the ballot measures as well. Please exercise your vote, and thank you for watching.